Hi, I have today some signs that I might be autistic. Now, I've never been diagnosed, but here are some things that I have noticed. I am a neurodivergent person diagnosed with ADHD. My son is autistic. My brother's son is autistic. I think my brother is. I think my daughters are showing signs. There's a lot going on there. So, today I want to take a look at some of the diagnostic criteria for determining if somebody is autistic. Here they are. Okay. So, social and communication, sensory sensitivities, routine and structure, emotional and mental health, relationships, and work life. Now, some of these I'm just going to describe. A couple of them I have actual stories for, and many of them are actually noticeable in my daily life. So let's go straight to section one, social and communication. Now, usually they say, look back to your youth. When you were a little kid, did you feel different? Did you feel isolated? Did people not get you? Now, for me personally, as a young person, probably up until maybe fifth grade or just past fifth grade, I was a happy kid. I was running around. I was energetic. I was outgoing. I was playful. I had nothing to worry about in my mind. The shift didn't happen until I was in my teens or like puberty time. Hormones do change the way that your brain processes things too. The same thing happens like in menopause. But there are also some traumatic events that went along with that. I don't know if the whole thing altogether, like a move across country from everything that I knew and my family out to the West Coast where it was, okay, I know no one. And all these kids here have their friends. And then there was a death in the family, and my family did not process that well. So a lot of stuff was going on all at the same time. So that's when I started noticing that I was a little different than others, not like other girls. I started just observing, not talking to people, just observing. And when I did talk to them, it was usually because they approached me first. So let's see. The criteria list when you are unconsciously copying social behaviors, rehearsing conversations. Oh my God, I do that all the time, especially when I have to make a phone call. I like script it out. And then they will probably say this. And then I'm going to answer with this. And then, okay. But yeah, I do it. Hating small talk and hating social rules. Absolutely. I don't like small talk because it feels fake. And I have this strong sense of justice and fairness. And I don't want to be fake and I don't want others to be fake to me because it feels like lying. And that seems maybe a wrong thing to maybe bad. Yeah. Social rules, it's all that stuff is arbitrary. So if I don't have a good reason of why I should be doing it, I'm not just going to follow your rules because you say follow the rules. Okay. But that's just me. Maybe it's autistic people. Let's see. Replaying conversations obsessively. What? That's not normal. I absolutely do that, especially if it's something where I think, oh no, what I tried to say didn't come out right. Like it didn't land. They didn't understand what I meant. They're going to think I'm weird. And then they're going to not want to talk to me anymore. And obviously, they're going to hate me. I know that's kind of tied to RSD, like rejection sensitive dysphoria, which is definitely an ADHD thing as well. But I guess it could be for this as well, for autism. Preferring deep one on ones over groups conversations. Yeah, because group conversations, you can't talk so much about yourself or what you're interested in or connect to someone through what you're interested or what they're interested in. So, yeah, I absolutely do that. All right. Here's another one, going out to eat. Here's how that ties. Actually, this ties in on so many different levels. But okay, so socializing. Sometimes my husband will have me go with him out to socialize with another couple. And if we're going to somebody else's home, that's usually okay for me. I can handle that for a couple hours because I can see them, I can listen to the conversation, and it can occur around me so I can observe and pipe in and add something as I see fit. But when I'm at a restaurant, it's a totally different story because there's too much going on. Like if there's dim lighting, I don't mind bright lights as much unless they're in my eyes. But with dim lighting, I can't see what's going on around me. And there's like almost the lizard brain in the back of my head going, like you don't know who's sneaking up on you. Monkey attacks. I don't know. And then there's all that ambient noise of other conversations. I can't filter out between other conversations or kitchen sounds or eating sounds. And there's so many other sounds that it's pulling my attention. And then I'm trying to focus on this person who's speaking to me. And then I'm focusing on the focusing. And I'm looking at their eyes and thinking about their eyes. And oh no, now I'm going to get caught staring at their eyes. And that's weird. And look away. And then half the time I can't hear what they're saying because of the ambient noise. And I'll end up doing the smile and nod because it's embarrassing to ask someone to repeat themselves when they're sitting a foot and a half to 2 feet away from you. Okay, so here I am leaning into them and it feels awkward. Is that happening? All right, let's move to section 2, sensory sensitivities. What I mentioned in the restaurant, when there's too much noise, I can't concentrate, especially if there's competing noise, because I'll get overwhelmed. I don't mind bright light, again, unless it's directly aimed at me. Yeah. Ooh, crowds. Crowds, I do not like crowds, but I do notice that if there's a crowd, say for instance, in a controlled area like an airport, where everyone is moving from point A to point B, and there's a flow to it. It's like I understand the flow of where things are going, right? But if it's like a static crowd, like that, it's just there, like at a state fair, or county fair, or something like that, and there's a bunch of people and someone just stops in the middle of the pathway and is looking at an exhibit or something, and then I'm trapped there and I don't know how am I supposed to get around this person, and then I've got to navigate, or I'm a salmon swimming upstream going on the other side where the flow is coming this way, and it just feels chaotic and disorganized. So I definitely don't like that. Do you guys, how are you with crowds? Next one is sensory sensitivity is for fabric. Now, I never thought that I had these kinds of issues. However, I definitely noticed I'm drawn to certain fabrics. I want natural fabrics like cotton and linen and bamboo, and I hate stiff or scratchy or I don't know, fake feeling maybe. Imagine chiffon. I don't want that touching me. I could never survive the 50s. Although I guess I had a bunch of underskirts and things like that. Clothing tags, unless they're like put in and they're not going to be scratching me. Otherwise, I clip them off if they're not flat sewn. I've actually accidentally given myself or my clothes holes on the side because I go too far in and it takes out the seam because I don't want that scratching at me. And then the last one is smell sensitivity. Absolutely. I am super sensitive to the smells, especially when it comes to food, but smells in general. And my husband would always make fun of me because I like to eat the same thing all the time. I don't know. Some people call it safe foods, but I do. I like that routine of things I know I'm going to like. But every once in a while, I want to try a new adventure and go out to eat. But I always do the SIF test. You can lift something up and determine whether or not it's edible. And if it does not smell right, I'm not eating it. I thought that was just normal behavior. Isn't that what everybody does? Okay, 3, routine and structure. So now here's where I kind of go off the rails because I do have ADHD. But some of these other things made me think this could be more than just ADHD because I have this contradiction for routine and structure. Like routine wise, I like to know what's going to happen. I like to do a routine that is predictable and that I understand the parameters of. But there's that ADHD side of me that craves that novelty, adventure, as long as it's contained, good boundaries. Let's see, I do definitely have structures and systems in place at my home. So I'll give the example of the dishwasher. I have determined for my family, for my life, for my house, there's a perfect way to load the dishwasher. And first, you have to completely remove any food particles because nobody wants dried on food particles that have survived the dishwasher to be on their plate. That's disgusting. So I have to wipe everything down. Then I put it in to the dishwasher according to what is its task? All the plates go together, all the bowls go together, all the glasses go together. And then by size, coffee mugs are all in one place, large glasses are another, small glasses in another. And then when I'm loading the plates, it goes small plates, then large plates, bowls, then large bowls. And it goes that way for cutleries. The little baskets in the utensil folder, there's one, in my view, one for small forks, one for large forks, one for small spoons, one for large spoons, one for sharp knives, one for butter knives, and then accessories, right? And if someone else in the house does the dishes and doesn't either load it fully to its capacity, why would you run two loads if you can just run it in one? Because I'm looking at it as more of a sanitizer. But if they've put just willy-nilly all of the utensils in random spots, I will be redoing that. All right. And then there's another thing like where I have to have a certain path mapped out to get to work, a certain a route. And wherever we're going, like my brain pre-maps the how to get there. And so sometimes my husband will turn the somewhere I wasn't expecting, and it'll throw me off because that's not where we are going on the map. Let me calculate. And then he gets mad at me thinking that I'm judging his driving when really it's that my brain is taking in new information. Wait a minute. Is this more efficient? Is it a better route? Is it faster? Is there some benefit to doing it this way that I need to readjust my whole worldview? Or did you just choose something different just for funsies? What's that about? So anyway, that becomes a little bit of a sticking point communication wise. Okay. And then our next one here is deep focus on special interests. Yes. Just yes. Number 4, our section number 4, emotional and mental health. All right. I do have chronic anxiety. It says there's a tendency towards depression and burnout. Yep. I experienced that. I always was switching jobs because I would get bored or burned out, one or the other, or sometimes both, because I never felt this is the thing I should be doing. If I shouldn't be doing it, then why am I doing it? So I'll stop this job and go find another. I don't know if that's how careers are built. There's another thing that happens to me. I get emotional exhaustion from too much interaction with other people. There's a recovery time that I have to go through. I'm teaching, like I was a teacher or am a teacher, teaching for 6 hours. It's not that it's difficult, it's just emotionally draining. And it takes me a long time to recover from that. For me, actually, that schedule was pretty good for my mental health because I needed a lot of recovery time from being on. Yeah. So that's high cost performance. I'm exhausting. I do frequently feel misunderstood. Like people aren't quite getting either my sense of humor or the way that I'm speaking or the way that I convey my ideas. I don't know. Unless there are other neurodivergence. And then I'm, yay, my people. Section 5, relationships and work life. Workplace interactions. So for me, I get nervous when I have to interact with other people in general. But at work, I usually feel a sense of purpose, like I'm supposed to be there, as opposed to random social engagements where I feel like maybe am not supposed to be there. But I did always hate when people would come in for observation to watch what's going on in my class or interrupting the class to ask a question, because I always felt, oh no, they're going to find something wrong with what I'm doing, or I'm probably doing this wrong. And now everyone knows I'm a big old fraud. I don't know. I needlessly worry. But also I noticed that if someone asks me a question about work, and I didn't know they were going to ask that, my brain will freeze and I cannot come up with the answer. But if they tell me ahead of time or put it in writing, then I can organize my thoughts and have that ready to go. It's just how my process works. It makes life difficult. Yeah, it's really hard for me to produce an answer on demand in the moment, even if it's something that I know very well. I've also noticed that I have a timeline when hanging out with friends most people that I hang out with. It's 2 hours. I get 2 hours max. Friends or family, I can carry a conversation for that long and then my brain just shuts down. And I have a friend next door who actually says to me, you saw it in your eyes, you shut down. Because I think I literally will. Everything in my face drops. Normally I'm a bit animated. And then like everything my eyes glaze over and my whole face like sinks down. So yeah, I do have an emotional battery, and it needs a long time to recharge. I need a lot of downtime to recharge. Even with something that with teaching, it's easy, but it's difficult because it drains me. It's not that it's hard to do, it's just exhausting. Just exhausting. And then the other thing in terms of relationships and my emotional, those go together, right? For me, maybe for you too. Relationships and work life, where that really plays into my emotional well being, because I do frequently feel misunderstood, whether it's people I'm close to or not. And yeah, that's another one that I guess it ties back to rejection sensitive dysphoria. Oh, yeah. So, one of the things about relationships and work life, I'm actually going to dive into work life a little bit more, is that in teaching, normally you're the person in charge, you just run your class, and your students are doing what you've asked them to do, hopefully, and learning something. But every once in a while, you'll have somebody else walk in the classroom, unexpected or expected. And suddenly I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Is this okay? Are they judging me? Am I being evaluated? So yeah, I would sort of assume I'm doing something wrong when someone comes in to observe me. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I always get good feedback on those, but one of the things that helps me in the work thing is that if I have a chance to process something, or I know what's coming and I know what I need to do and I have a chance to write it down, it's like a pre-processing. And if not, if I get caught off guard, my brain freezes up. And then I can't come up with any. If someone just walks in, oh, hey, we're having a meeting and I need you to tell me the 3 most important blah, blah, blahs. Like in the moment, I'm like, I have no idea. But if I can sit down and think about it, I'll be able to come up with it. Oh, so basically, anytime I'm somewhere where I'm working, I'm okay with the social aspect of like sitting in on a meeting or like going to talk about whatever. Like if I'm there for a purpose, right? Like I need everything to be tied to a purpose in order for me to socialize. Otherwise, I feel like I don't belong. So when after a meeting, if people are like, oh yeah, let's all go get lunch, I am always afraid to join in because I won't know what to say. I won't feel like I'm supposed to be there. I won't feel like I belong. And it triggers all these feelings of feeling stupid. And that's the worst. Feeling stupid is the worst. I think that really, if you look at all of these, or excuse me, any individual one of these items, individually, they don't really mean much of anything. But if you look at the pattern across all 5 categories and you start to see, oh, wait, yeah, those do all apply to me, that pattern starts to make me think, hey, maybe I need to look into this. And so that comes back to why I'm making these videos. It's not just, am I autistic, but how do I navigate my life? How do I get through work and life once we start asking these kinds of questions about ourselves? So actually in the next video, I am going to talk about finding jobs that fit that personality and fitting the way neurodivergent brains work. So if any of this stuff sounds familiar, hey, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It costs you nothing. Like you can subscribe to a million channels, no skin off your nose. But for me, it can help me make more videos. And this series is me just kind of figuring out all this stuff in real time. And I'd rather do it with people who get it than just be out here alone. Comment below which one of these resonated with you, which category hit hardest for you. I'd really love to know. Alrighty, until next time, see you later.